A kind-hearted bookstore owner, Mrs. Clara, was tidying her shelves when a young boy, about 10 years old, timidly stepped inside. His clothes were torn, and his face bore the signs of hardship. With wide eyes, he approached her and asked, "Excuse me, ma'am, do you have any books I can read? I don't have any money, but I love stories." Mrs. Clara was taken aback. She had seen her fair share of people looking for free things, but a child asking for books? With a mix of compassion and skepticism, she asked, "Why don't you spend your time working to buy a book instead?" The boy hesitated, lowering his gaze. "I do odd jobs, but I don't earn enough. Books, they take me to places I can't go." Moved, she picked an old, slightly worn book from the shelf and handed it to him. "Here, but don't lose it, and make sure you return it when you're done." "Thank you, I promise," he exclaimed, clutching the book to his chest. Over the next weeks, the boy returned, each time borrowing another book. Mrs. Clara began to look forward to his visits, even slipping in small snacks for him to take home. She didn't pry into his life, but she could see how much the books meant to him. One day, he stopped coming. Weeks turned into months, and Mrs. Clara found herself missing his enthusiasm. She regretted not asking his name or where he lived. Years later, as her bookstore struggled to stay afloat, she received a package in the mail. Inside was a beautifully bound book titled "Stories That Saved Me" by Daniel Reed, a famous author. On the first page, a handwritten note read, "Dear Mrs. Clara, your kindness gave me hope when I had none. This book exists because of you. Enclosed is a small token of my gratitude." Tucked in the pages was a check for an amount that could save her store. Tears streaming down her face, she realized the boy she had once helped had grown into a man who changed her life in return.